Okay, so today you're going to be working in your engineering design notebook. You're starting a new project. So what I'd like you to do is I want to leave, you should leave, 2 or 3 pages blank because we haven't quite finished our box project and you're going to be writing a little bit more in your notebook for that. But skip forward a little bit and go to a new page and start a new project. And when we start a new project, you're going to give it a title and you're going to put it in the table of contents. Make sure all your pages are numbered. So you can call this product design project. I personally like to call it the Shark Tank project. If you ever watch that show, this project reminds me a lot of that show. But give it a title and put it in the table of contents. Please pause this video as you go and complete each step before moving on to the next one. Okay, so now that you have a title and it's in the table of contents, you're going to start with step one. Step one is objective. The objective of this is to demonstrate what you've learned and to come up with a product. And you're going to basically design, build your project. Okay. All right, step two is brainstorming. This is an individual project. Doesn't mean that you can't talk to your neighbors and get ideas from them, but this is an individual project. And so step two, when you're trying to come up with a new product, brainstorming is one of the most critical steps in the process. So I want you to take a long time with this. I want you to have a lot of thought put into this. And I want you to have like a lot of ideas and like maybe a little bit of sketches and some depth to it, maybe different variations of the ideas. So spend a lot of time on this. If you're having a hard time coming up with ideas, think through your day. Think of things that annoy you. You can also do a search on the end. First, just do that. Try to come up with as many ideas on your own. You can think of problems and then think of ways of solving those problems. The toothpaste won't come out. How can I solve that? I give you the example of me watering my Christmas tree. What are some different ways that you could resolve that problem? I can think of 2 or 3 just sitting here. I could come up with a system that I put the water outside and there's a tube that goes in there that somehow does some pressure balancing. I could think of a long spout that just kind of goes into there, or maybe you just stick a spout that comes out and you water into that, like a big funnel that somehow is supported. There's lots of different ways that you can do it. Some are better than others, but there's lots of different ways you can do it. And remember, brainstorming doesn't matter if it's a good idea or a bad idea, just write it down. If you come after you extinguish all of your ideas, you can look up online. I don't want you looking up how to do things or whatnot, but you can look up first world problems or common everyday problems, or common annoyances or whatnot. And that might spark some ideas as well. But spend a good, amount of time. Spend 20 to 40 minutes doing brainstorming, if not longer. The brainstorming is really critical and there's going to be a lot of points in it for that. So pause the video and do that. Okay, so now that you've finished that, you have step 1, objective, step 2, brainstorming. Now you're going to move on to step 3. So step 3, oopsie, I'm trying to erase here. All right, so step 3 is constraints and criteria. So here's the project description. It's also going to be attached to the assignment. But what you're going to do is you're going to think of a simple problem that you can create a solution for. The problem must be a real-world problem that many people face on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be everybody, but it's something that more than just you experience. And you're going to come up with a product that will fix that. You must receive approval from me. So I am going to have a submission, not today, but on the next day, that you, by then you should have what you want to do. And I'll go through and I'll check all those out. I'm not going to approve anything that, if your product is something that already exists, I'm not going to approve it. Now, you can make a better version of something. Maybe something exists and you're going to make a better version of it. Or a different version of it, okay? This is This is a final project, so your solution must contain the following components covered this year. This is a key one. It must implement shop tools or skills. It must be shop worthy. Now, I don't want you to get too discouraged if you have like a brilliant idea that you don't think involves a shop. Try to think of how you can incorporate the shop into that. Maybe you can make a nice little box to hold your product. Maybe you can make it some accessory or some way, think of some way how you can incorporate the shop. But it must be shop worthy. That is a component of the grade, is that you use the shop, and not just like for one cut. It has to be, you have to be making something in the shop. And it must be a functional prototype. So you're trying to get something that that actually kind of works. All right, in your engineering design notebook, you're gonna have all the steps. You're also going to make a commercial, a 90 to 120 second commercial, okay? So let's see if there's any other key things. I think there's not a ton of constraints and criteria. Okay, so that's your constraints and criteria. Now, excuse me. Step 4 is research. So now what you're going to do is you're going to start researching. Things to research are the following. So for research, let me go down to here. For research, some things you can research. Let's see if I put it up here. I did not. Things you can research are the following. You can research, like, 1, does your product exist? So, like, from your brainstorming, you probably have you should have more than one idea that you want to do. You should have a few different ideas that you're like, hey, these are potentially good, viable design options. And you should be researching things that involve those, 3 to 5 ideas. So does the product exist? And then researching things that are going to help you design and or build your product, okay? So your research should be focused towards your end product. Remember that for research, you need to have your source. I need to know what you're thinking about, and you need to have lots of findings. Remember that your source and findings should be next to each other. Don't have all your sources at the beginning or the end. I want to know which sources with which findings. So good luck. Remember, you need to submit what you've completed by the end of class. If you have any questions or problems along the way, email me, but then keep working. All right, have a great day.